The sun hung low over the sprawling city of Larkhaven, its golden glow reflecting off the rain-soaked streets. It was a world caught between beauty and chaos, where gleaming skyscrapers rose against a backdrop of smog and the hum of opportunity battled the undercurrent of despair. Life here was fast-paced, unpredictable, and often unforgiving, a relentless whirlwind that left little room for reflection or respite. Amid this cacophony stood Maya Turner, a 29-year-old art teacher who, despite her outward smile, was carrying the weight of mounting personal struggles. Maya was known for her vibrant energy in the classroom, where she encouraged her students to express themselves freely through colors and shapes. Yet, outside those walls, she felt like a shadow of her true self, shrinking under the pressures of a life that seemed determined to challenge her at every turn. Maya had recently been blindsided by a series of unfortunate events. Her mother's sudden illness had drained her savings. Her longtime partner had walked away when she needed support the most, and the school board had announced significant budget cuts, threatening the very art program she had worked so hard to build. The world, it seemed, was closing in on her, and no matter how hard she tried to stay afloat, negativity loomed like an unrelenting storm cloud. As Maya stood on the balcony of her modest apartment, watching the rain drizzle against the backdrop of the city, she felt a sharp pang of despair. It wasn't just the events of her life. It was the sense of helplessness, the belief that she had no control over her circumstances. The world felt like a maze without an exit, its walls pressing closer with each passing day. Yet, there was a faint glimmer of hope buried beneath the weight of her emotions. Maya's late father, a man of quiet wisdom, used to tell her stories of resilience and positivity. Sometimes, he would say, life will test you with storms, but it's not the storm that defines you. It's how you choose to walk through it. Those words echoed in her mind, both a comfort and a challenge. That evening, as Maya sorted through old boxes in her living room, she stumbled upon a dusty journal her father had gifted her years ago. Its leather cover was worn, and the pages held his handwritten notes, filled with reflections, sketches, and advice he had never had the chance to share in person. In the first entry he had written, "When the world turns dark, light begins within." The journal became a mirror to her soul, forcing Maya to confront the dilemma she had been avoiding. Was she going to let life's challenges defeat her, or would she rise to the occasion and find a way to thrive despite the odds? Maya's mind swirled with uncertainty. She wanted to believe in her father's words, but the weight of her struggles made it seem impossible. How could she find positivity in a world so consumed by negativity? As she held the journal close, an idea began to take root. She would take one small step at a time, no matter how insignificant it seemed, and seek out moments of light even in the darkest corners of her life. Unbeknownst to her, this decision would set her on a journey that would challenge her deeply held beliefs, reshape her perspective, and ultimately reveal the transformative power of positivity in the face of adversity. Maya's journey began with a small but determined decision: to find one positive thing each day, no matter how insignificant it seemed. Armed with her father's journal and a commitment to change, she stepped out of her comfort zone, ready to confront the challenges ahead. But the world, as always, had a way of testing resolve. The first obstacle appeared almost immediately. At school, a heated meeting with the administration left Maya reeling. The art program was officially on the chopping block, with only a slim chance of survival if she could demonstrate its value through measurable results. As the principal's words sank in, Maya felt a familiar wave of frustration rise. But instead of succumbing to anger, she remembered her father's words. She took a deep breath, opened the journal during her lunch break, and read, "When life closes a door, sometimes it's an invitation to find another path." Maya decided to pivot her approach. Instead of fighting against the system, she began rallying support from the people who mattered most, her students and their parents. Over the next week, she encouraged her students to create art that expressed what the program meant to them. Their work, vivid, raw, and deeply personal, was a testament to how art had become their refuge and voice. Parents joined in, sharing stories of how their children had flourished under Maya's guidance. Slowly, a grassroots movement began to take shape. But the challenges didn't stop there. One evening, while working late at the school to organize an art showcase, Maya's car broke down. Stranded in the rain, she felt a familiar sense of despair creeping in. A stranger passing by, an older woman with kind eyes and a cheerful umbrella, stopped to help. As they waited for a tow truck, the woman shared her story, how she had lost her business during the pandemic, but found solace and purpose in volunteering at a local community center. "You remind me of myself," the woman said with a warm smile. "When life throws you into the deep end, you learn how to swim differently. And sometimes, those new strokes are what save you." The encounter left Maya with a sense of renewed determination. It was a reminder that even in difficult times, kindness and connection could light the way forward. Back at home, another challenge awaited. Maya's mother's condition had worsened, and the medical bills were mounting. The weight of responsibility felt unbearable. But this time, instead of spiraling into despair, Maya reached out for help. She organized a fundraiser at the school, showcasing her students' artwork and inviting the local community. The event became a surprising success, not just financially but emotionally. People came together, shared stories, and supported one another, reminding Maya of the strength found in collective effort. Amidst these trials, Maya encountered moments of profound personal growth. She started noticing things she had once overlooked: the gentle laughter of her students, the resilience of her mother, and even the beauty of a sunset after a long, tiring day. Each of these small moments became a touchstone, a reminder that positivity wasn't about ignoring life's hardships, but about finding meaning and beauty within them. Throughout this journey, Maya found unexpected mentors. There was Mr. Ramirez, the school's janitor, who shared stories of his youth spent as a street artist in Mexico and how art had saved him from a life of violence. "Every stroke of the brush," he told Maya one evening, "is a step toward healing. Keep painting, no matter what the world says." There was also Jada, one of her students, who confided in Maya about her struggles with bullying and how creating art helped her feel seen and valued. "You've taught me that even messy paintings are beautiful," Jada said one afternoon, handing Maya a thank you note scrawled in rainbow colors. With each encounter, Maya's perspective began to shift. She saw that positivity wasn't about denying hardship, but embracing the full spectrum of life's experiences: joy, pain, success, and failure alike. These lessons became her guiding light, helping her navigate the challenges she faced. The storm of negativity was still present, but Maya was no longer a passive victim. She had become an active participant in shaping her own story, finding strength in moments of gratitude, connection, and creativity. The journey was far from over, but for the first time, she felt a sense of purpose guiding her steps. Little did she know, the true turning point was yet to come, one that would test everything she had learned and ultimately transform her in ways she never imagined. The true turning point in Maya's journey came unexpectedly, on a day that seemed as ordinary as any other. She was at the school, preparing for the art showcase that had become the centerpiece of her fight to save the program. The gymnasium buzzed with anticipation as students and volunteers transformed it into a gallery, hanging paintings and setting up sculptures. Maya, despite her exhaustion, felt a glimmer of pride in what they had accomplished. As the event began, Maya moved through the crowd, greeting parents, colleagues, and members of the community. The room was alive with energy, filled with laughter and admiration for the students' work. For a brief moment, Maya allowed herself to hope. Perhaps this was the breakthrough she needed to show the school board the value of art. But then came the unexpected blow. Midway through the evening, she overheard two members of the board discussing the program. "I still don't see how this helps test scores," one said. "Let's be honest, this is just a sentimental display," the other replied. "The budget can't sustain it." The words hit Maya like a punch to the gut. Her months of effort, the countless hours poured into the showcase, felt meaningless in the face of such indifference. For the first time in weeks, she felt her resolve waver. What was the point of fighting so hard when the outcome seemed inevitable? Unable to stay composed, Maya stepped outside into the crisp evening air. The distant hum of city traffic mixed with the sound of laughter from the gym. She clutched her father's journal, seeking solace in its pages. But this time, no quote could lift her spirits. Her positivity, carefully nurtured over months, felt fragile and fleeting. As she sat on the steps, lost in thought, a familiar voice interrupted her. It was Jada, the young student who had confided in her weeks earlier. "Miss Turner," Jada said softly, holding a small canvas in her hands. "I made this for you." Maya looked at the painting, a vibrant scene of a stormy sky, with a single beam of sunlight breaking through the clouds. In the bottom corner, Jada had written in bold letters, "Thank you for teaching me to find the light." Tears welled in Maya's eyes as she stared at the painting. The words struck a chord deep within her. In that moment, she realized that the true impact of her work wasn't measured in test scores or budget approvals. It was in the lives she had touched, the seeds of hope she had planted, and the resilience she had inspired in her students. It wasn't just about saving the art program. It was about embodying the very lessons she sought to teach. Her father's words came rushing back. When life turns dark, light begins within. With newfound clarity, Maya returned to the gym. The board members' indifference no longer weighed on her. Instead, she addressed the crowd with an impassioned speech, sharing stories of her students' transformations and the profound role art had played in their lives. "Art is not just a subject," Maya said, her voice steady and strong. "It's a lifeline. It's a way for these kids to express what they can't put into words, to process their pain, and to celebrate their joy. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, we can create something beautiful." Her words resonated deeply, and by the end of the night, parents and community members approached her, offering their support. One parent even volunteered to start a petition to save the program, while another pledged a donation to help with supplies. But the most profound moment came when Mr. Ramirez, the janitor, quietly handed her a note. Inside was a small sketch of a sunflower, along with the words, "You can't stop the sun from rising. Keep going." That night, Maya understood the true power of positivity. It wasn't about forcing herself to feel good or denying the difficulties of life. It was about choosing to see possibilities where others saw dead ends, and about finding strength in connection, creativity, and hope. Her journey wasn't over. But for the first time, she felt at peace with the uncertainty. She had discovered a light within herself, one that no storm could extinguish. And she knew that as long as she held on to that light, she could face whatever challenges lay ahead. The weeks following the art showcase were a whirlwind of activity. The petition to save the art program gained traction quickly, spreading through the community like wildfire. Parents, students, and even local businesses rallied behind Maya, sharing stories of how art had impacted their lives. News outlets picked up the story, and soon the school board faced pressure they could no longer ignore. In a final meeting, the board reluctantly agreed to preserve the art program for another year, with the condition that it be funded through external grants and community support. It wasn't a perfect victory, but to Maya, it was enough. The program's survival was a testament to the power of persistence, creativity, and collective effort. But the real transformation was not in the decision itself. It was in Maya. The journey had changed her profoundly. Where she had once felt overwhelmed by negativity, she now approached challenges with resilience and clarity. She no longer saw herself as a victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in shaping her life and the lives of those around her. Months later, on a quiet afternoon, Maya sat in her classroom, surrounded by the hum of students busy at work. The walls were adorned with their creations, colorful paintings, expressive sketches, and bold sculptures that seemed to tell 1,000 stories. Each piece was a testament to their growth, their courage, and their ability to find beauty even in difficult moments. Jada walked up to her desk, holding a new painting. This one depicted a small sapling growing through a crack in the pavement, its leaves reaching for the sun. Beneath it, Jada had written, "You taught us that we're stronger than we think." Maya smiled, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. It wasn't the first time she received such a gesture, but each one reminded her of why she had chosen this path. The art program wasn't just about teaching technique or theory. It was about giving her students a way to navigate the complexities of life, just as her father's wisdom and journal had guided her. Outside of school, Maya's life began to take on new meaning. Inspired by the support of the community, she started a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing access to art for underserved students across the city. She named it The Light Within, a nod to her father's words and the lessons she had learned during her journey. Through the nonprofit, she partnered with local artists, businesses, and schools to bring art supplies, workshops, and mentorship programs to children who needed it most. Over time, the organization grew, becoming a beacon of hope and inspiration for many. Reflecting on her journey, Maya often returned to her father's journal, now filled with her own notes alongside his. One evening, as she sat on her balcony, watching the city lights flicker against the night sky, she wrote, "Positivity isn't about ignoring life struggles. It's about embracing them, finding meaning in the chaos, and choosing to create light even when the world feels dark. The storm will come, but we carry the sun within us." Maya realized that the lessons she had learned weren't just for her. They were universal truths that anyone could apply. She began sharing her story with others, speaking at schools, community centers, and conferences. Her message resonated far and wide. In a world full of challenges, we have the power to choose our perspective, to find beauty, and to create hope. Years later, as Maya walked into a gallery showcasing her students' work, she paused in front of a painting that brought tears to her eyes. It was Jada's latest piece, a towering tree, its branches reaching for the heavens, its roots firmly planted in the earth. Beneath it was written, "To Miss Turner, who taught us to grow, even in the storm." In that moment, Maya understood the legacy of her journey. It wasn't just about what she had overcome. It was about the lives she had touched, the seeds she had planted, and the light she had helped others find within themselves. Her story wasn't just hers anymore. It had become a part of something greater, a reminder that even in the most negative situations, the power of positivity could transform lives and create a legacy that would endure for generations to come.